So, well, on this part, I kind of want to break away the sway we have on the weapon. So we can actually have it as its own component, which then we can use onto different objects, because it's going to be really helpful, and you'll see why as we go. So let's open up. Let me close a few things first. Okay, so let's go and create a new script. Let's call this way object. Okay. Now, ideally, we could probably just reuse the same root from a sway parent, or well, we'll see. So let's see what we first need. We obviously need the angles, so the delta tilt and the delta angle. Let's copy this first of all, and let's do public void tick. We'll be passing a delta as well. Okay, so what should we be using? So we definitely need, let's add this a root, and we're going to be getting the root, and this, the last rotation tilt was, I think, a vector 3. Okay, so let's use vector 3 last rotation tilt, then this will be a root, and then of course we need float delta tilt and last rotation angle and float delta angle. Okay, so now we're going to be getting everything from the root. So we're basically following the delta position or the delta tilt, a delta angle of a transform. We could, and we probably should, break this apart. So we are following a tilt, or for root tilt, and we're also following a root angle. Okay, so in the sense of okay, I think this can probably be, yeah, okay, this can be encapsulated, so let's do that. So let's make a public class that we will say sway target, where we will be having a target transform, and we're going to be having tilt or a delta tilt and a last rotation. Okay, we can probably break this apart, so we could do public void tick cut this, paste this in here, and we have a target transform, last rotation, and target transform. Okay, so we can make this serializable. We don't need to know the data, we don't need to be seeing this, so we could just do basically a public sway target sways, then sways, we're doing a tick. Okay, so with this tick we're basically getting, but we're only getting this on the X. Okay, so ideally, well, not ideally, we could just probably just make this as a delta way, let's call it that. And then instead of just doing this on the tilt, delta sway can be the local Euler angles minus the last rotation, actually. Okay, then we need to do a clamp on this, then last rotation is local Euler angles, and then delta tilt is already what we need. So we just need to do then if delta sway dot x greater than 180, then delta sway dot x minus 360 and is less than 180 plus 360, and duplicate this 2 times or 3 times actually. So we use Z and Y. So Z, Y, and Y, and we don't need this. So we have now the delta sway. Okay, last rotation we need, delta tilt we don't need, and we can be getting the delta sway from this. Awesome. So with the delta sway, basically we could go on the controller. We don't even need this anymore. So let's comment them out just so that we see them. And let's find the delta tilt. Okay, delta tilt, and then here's where we use this. Awesome. So and then we're getting this. Okay, we're clamping it and we're lerping it. So this now needs to be on its own method, and this needs to be applied. So this is the easy way because we're going to be applying on the Y. Okay, so basically we need a way to assign limits. Okay, so let's try. Well, first of all, let's copy this so we can see it here, but I just want this to be commented out. So we'll just paste it in here. So let's create, we have our sway targets, then we need public class sway axis. And sway axis is basically going to be using the limits, sway limit then. Okay. And we want to have a current tilt range. Okay. So let's first of all use this as system.serializable. We need to know the axis, so we could probably do my axis, so we know which sway target we are using. So we could just say public float get value or get delta value by using my axis, and then switch a return delta sway x, delta sway y, delta sway z, and return 0. Okay, then y axis, and let's see. Let's do a tick in here, public void tick float delta. And let's copy paste one of these. So we'll see all the different values we're going to be getting. So the delta angle now, it's going to be float value that we're going to be passing, or the axis value. So it's going to be here. Then we need a sway limit. Which we're going to be using over here, over here, over here. And then we need the final value for this, which then we could just be, we should be saving this. So we're going to be using result value, call it that, because we need to be saving that. Result value p by, and of course our speed, way speed, okay, and we will be returning this. And yeah, we could be returning this to load as result value. Okay, then that would be a sway target. Then we also need this to, we need to be creating this. So okay, for each sway we are updating the delta. Then we need also for a public sway axis, then for each var s in sway axis, we're going to be doing a tick. But first of all, we want to have a vector3 target Eulers. Okay, which then start as our own transform.local Euler angles. Okay, then depending on the s dot axis, we're going to be assigning target Euler dot x, for example, is going to be s dot tick delta. We don't have the sway though. We don't have the sway for this. And then what should we do then? Maybe we just use one sway. No, we can't use one sway because we kind of want to. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to be actually assigning a sway target index. Sway, that's the sway axis, public integer sway target index. Okay, then we're going to be doing sways s dot sway target index dot get delta value s dot axis. Okay, so basically it's a way to connect this with this without without passing a lot of difference. You just need to be changing the sway index. We'll see it in action and you'll see it how it should be done correctly. So okay, let's copy this the same then for y and z. Then we have target index. Okay, so that should be correct then. Then this creates us Can we also limits? So this creates us the range. So that means that's not how we should do it. That means we should be doing it like so, because it's the percentage, which means then we need to do a lerp for s by the range, which is this. Okay, let's just copy all this. Okay, so this will be lerping, then all that is left is applying our own target Euler then. Yeah, that should do it. Okay. So the tick now needs to be handled from some place. Just to test, I'm just going to do it like so. Okay, the idea is I'm going to actually replace this and maybe have sway targets that connect to sway objects. We'll see how it goes with this. Oops, not the correct project. That's not even the correct project. That's the correct project. Okay. So you see the game without sway. Let's see if we can add the sway. I'm going to add the sway right onto the weapon holder. Then I'm going to add the first sway target to my controller, which is left and right. Delta sway, we don't need anything. So for weapon holder, I think we just want the Y, and that should be good. And then we set the sway, and let's say 15. Result value, we don't need to care. Let's do 8, and sway target index can stay at 0. So let's see now. Well, it does work, but I think just too fast. Or are we updating? Yeah, I think we're actually updating the weapon holder from some place. And I'm pretty sure we did. Yeah, we are updating its values already. So let's try this. Copy component, paste component. I just want to be sure that the script is working and we're not having it affected from somewhere else. And as you can see, yeah, it does. So let's say we want to add a new another sway, and this time I want the tilter. Then this time I want to I want to access the X. So let's do same thing, but I'm going to change the sway target index to 1, so it's facing the other object. Okay, so that's what we got. So why do I want to do this like so? Let's say I get a model. I don't know, let's say we get like any character from here. In here, I don't actually need the game to be in here. So let's say I want to have something moving like this. Then we could just say this is a sway object. We want it to rotate on the, I don't know, it probably needs to be set at 0, 0, 0 though, for this to work properly. We might want to be storing the start position. We'll see if we can fix this. So let's say we want this to be moving on the Y, minus 33. Okay, so you can see we might need to use two limits anyway. So we can say target transform, just take this guy and just change it on the Y, sway limit, let's say 35, result value and sway speed. Sway speed, let's say 5. So if we hit play, and now I can rotate this guy, and you can see that we can basically reuse this. So when their guys are moving, this can move all over the place. So let's actually expand on this a little more. And we have a limit. So let's split this to sway limit minimum and sway limit maximum. And this can stay sway limit min, sway limit max. Now, how do we find the percentage though, is the question. Because it's not, well, we'll do float. Yeah, we basically need to add both of these values. Sway all. So we do sway limit max plus sway limit minimum, and start divide by the angle by sway all. Okay, so let's assume we have 10 minus 9. Okay, this probably will work. We'll see. So let me close this. Yeah, sway limit, sway limit. As you can see, this is sway limit minimum, and this is sway limit max. Okay, let's try that. I think the weapon is going to complain now because we have 0. So I'm just going to add some values over there, and let's try solving it with the pouch first, and then we care for that. So let's say minimum will actually, maximum will actually be 0, and minimum will be minus 19. Okay, so that would be 19, okay. No, the math is wrong to this, because we do not have the actual percentage now from one to the other. And let's think of this a little bit.